It's time to sell Erling Haaland, but who do we replace him with? Welcome to my new YouTube show. The big question on everyone's lips this week is, do we sell Erling Haaland just for a couple of weeks? Now, this is of course very team dependent, but if you're looking to field 10 or 11 players in Game Week 28, it might just make sense to get rid of the big man. So you could replace him with someone playing in 28. He's not. And someone that's doubling in 29. He is a single game week fixture against Liverpool. So it's 3 fixtures for your new forward versus 1 fixture for Erling Haaland. So for me, I'm happy to sell. The other option is that you sell, say, for example, a Rashford and bring him back for 29. He's got a good double. You could sell a Brighton asset. Bring them back for 29. They have a good double. By selling Haaland, you don't need to necessarily bring him back in 29. You can wait to 30. Now, he could go and score 5 against Liverpool. We saw him do that in the week against Leipzig. But I think we can back the odds there. And if there's ever a week to go against Haaland, it feels like it's in a big double game week where he's on a single in what should be a difficult fixture on paper, although Liverpool have been conceding goals for fun. So who are the replacements? If we're selling Erling Haaland, it's only worth it if there are forwards out there that we think are going to return us instant points. So look, I'm seeing some looking at João Felix or Brennan Johnson or Dom Solanke, names that aren't necessarily producing the points. But there are 2 players that I think completely stand out above the rest. Ollie Watkins and it's Kai Havertz. Now, those that have been following my journey in FPL for a few years will know I absolutely love Kai Havertz. And I've had some very good and some very bad memories of owning Kai Havertz. That 7-0 win against Norwich last year, where he was the only player on the field not to return. And I captained him like many others did. And Mo Salah captain produced for many. But look, let's not cry over spilt milk. Look, Aston Villa have arguably a slightly better Game Week 28 fixture, Bournemouth at home. But then Villa have a double game week, which is 2 away fixtures against Chelsea and Leicester. So it's a really difficult double game week, that. Going to Stamford Bridge, going to the King Power. But then the fixtures turn a little bit. Game week 30, it's Forest. 31, it's Newcastle. It's Brentford, it's Fulham. It's a nice run. Aston Villa are playing well. And Watkins is flying with 6 in 7. Havertz, good Game week 28 fixture. Firstly, it's worth noting the next 3 fixtures are all at home, right? Big advantage. So it's Everton, and then the double game week, it's 2 homes. It's Aston Villa, it's Liverpool. And then after that, it's Wolves, Brighton, United, Brentford. So again, a good range of fixtures. Arguably not as good as Villa's post-game week 30, but the double in 29 is better. So not much between them. When we look at the stats, there's not a great deal between them. Look, Watkins is performing better of late. When we look at the expected numbers this season, Watkins slightly higher. The amount of shots, Watkins slightly higher. Havertz has a few more penalty area touches. Big chances, more to Watkins, but in terms of creation, more to Havertz. Points, look, Watkins is up 30. But it's worth noting, Havertz in recent weeks is looking really, really sharp. If we were to compare the last 2 or 3 game weeks, for example, the numbers would be similar in terms of expected data. If we were to include the Champions League, where Havertz scored against Dortmund and played probably his best game in a Chelsea shirt, then again, we're looking at recent form, and it's a small sample size of 2 or 3 game weeks to go. Havertz is flying equally as high, if not higher, than Watkins in that period. Watkins has been scoring goals. Yes, he has. Since Chelsea have turned to the back 3 and it's 3-4-3, and Havertz is linking really nicely with either Mudryk or Sterling, whoever's in the role, and João Felix, it's a really good front 3. They're on similar wavelength, these players, especially the Felix and Havertz link. And it's for that reason I think I'm going to be going Havertz. Now, why am I going Havertz? Is it just because I like the last couple of games? No, well, my head would say go Watkins, but my heart says Havertz, and as someone that wants to support Havertz in those fixtures as a Chelsea fan, I'm going to be going and enjoying those goals way, way more. And sometimes FPL has to be about fun. I also like the fact I don't think there's much between them, yet Havertz ownership is way lower, and I need to take some chances here to get some big greens. So look, there are big 2 options. Either is a very, very good option in my opinion. The majority are going to go Watkins. It's the safer call. It's probably the sensible pick. More on why later in talking tactics. But I'm going to be going Havertz because I think there's a slightly higher ceiling in the immediate for the next 3 fixtures. Look, we might be selling this player in Game Week 30 for back to Erling Haaland, or we might sell one of our other forwards. We don't know yet, but this doesn't necessarily have to be a long-term own. So defenders, many in the community are talking about the likes of Estupinan, and is he a possible sell? Look, I've looked at it. He plays in Australia, in Melbourne, 3 or 4 days before Brighton's first game of the double. It's risky, but there's a very good chance De Zerbi tells us in game week 29 if he's good to start or not. De Zerbi's a manager that's very transparent in press conferences. Now, for 28, should we consider selling him and bring in someone we know is going to play, and then in 29 go to a Lewis Dunk that we know is nailed for minutes? What I would say is Estupiñán's upside is high enough that if he doesn't start every single game, or doesn't start the first game of game week 29, it's okay. We do want him long term. In the last couple of games since owning him, he's super high. He's super attacking. He has shots on target. Goals and assists are coming for Estupiñán owners. Personally, I think he'll be all right. We see players come back from South America, from the Far East all the time, and they're fine. Yeah, Australia's is a little bit further, but we've seen it in the past with players like Jedinak. They would come back and often still play. So I think I'm happy taking that risk with Estupiñán. But let's have a look at how my team got on in the game week just gone. Okay, game week 27. Guys, this is why mid-week game week ranks are so pointless. Many of us earlier in the week were stressing over our rank on Sunday night and Monday and still obsessing on the Tuesday. Well, just wait till Wednesday. Look at your rank after the fixtures, and you'll probably see what I saw, which was a terrible rank early in the game week. By the end of the game week, it's a nice big green arrow, because I think certainly for those that wildcarded, you would have gone big on Brentford and big on Brighton, and those players all produced. And when we look at my 11 here, it's pretty templatey. The only two players not to return were, Rashford and Saka that everyone has. So a good week all round. On last week's show, we spoke a lot about our Brighton assets for captaincy, as well as Tony. All of them produce. Like, you could have gone for any of the three midfielders, or even your Brighton defenders. You could have gone at Tony, could have gone at Henry. These players all produced, and it was pretty samey. So yeah, Tony slightly better than the rest. Happy with that decision in the end. And look, my rank now is 224k. I'm fairly happy with that, with the business end of the season to go. A bench boost would have been nice. Did I strongly consider it? No, like we talked about it in last week's show. I was always planning for next week, game week 29, after the international break, for bench boost. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. I would very happily have bench boost this bench. I had 19 points on the bench this week. I think with a bench boost, you take anything over 15. You're very happy with a 20 and certainly a 19. So that's how I got on in the week just gone. But how about my plans for the blank 28? So this is my current setup. Captaincy we'll discuss in a second, but let's talk transfers first. At the moment, I'm not going to field 11. I can't get to 11, but I can get to 10 very easily if I sell Erling Haaland to Kai Havertz. That's a move I'm pretty sure I'm going to make, right? I've told you my reasons for going Havertz over Watkins, although I think both are fantastic options. So if I make that move, I can then make one other move, because I have got 2 free transfers to field 11. But by doing that, I have to sell Rashford. Don't want to do that, because I know I'll bring him back in 29. Value tied up in him too. And I don't have value tied up in Haaland, by the way. Even easier to bring him back. The other option is I sell a Brighton player. I don't want to sell a Brighton player, especially after seeing Brighton on Wednesday night. I could have used this as an excuse to sell, say, Solly March if I wanted McAllister instead. And then game week 29, bring in McAllister. It's a way of shuffling your Brighton players around. But the Brighton players that I own, and I think most of us own, we're probably all very happy with. Is there an argument to say I could come off a Matoma or a March for a McAllister? Maybe, but I think I'm happy with where I am. Could I sell Estupiñán and go triple Brighton midfield next week and bring in McAllister alongside March and Matoma? And that is an option. And if Estupiñán had looked really bad on Wednesday night, then I would consider that, because I think triple Brighton attack could be loads of fun. And maybe if I own Lewis Dunk, that'd be a move I'd be making. I'd sell Dunk in 28 and then go triple Brighton midfield in 29. But because it's Estupiñán, because it's March, because it's Matoma, I'm set on these Brighton assets. So if I'm not selling Brighton or Rashford, and I am selling Haaland, the only other option I can see here to field 11 this week is to sell Rico Henry. Now, you might say that's silly because he's got a fixture and he's got a double in 29. But I'd be selling him with someone who I believe has a much better fixture. So Chilwell could come in, couldn't he? Chilwell could come in, has a better 28 fixture than Henry and a much better double in 29. So that's an option I'm looking at. I'm definitely going to sell Haaland to Havertz. I might use my second transfer, Rico Henry to Chilwell, who is absolutely flying at the moment. So there are my thoughts. Captaincy is going to go down to the wire. At the moment, it's on Kane. I'm tempted on a punt on Martinelli. I'm not going to go Saka. I've decided there. The way Martinelli's playing at the moment, if I go to an Arsenal player against a poor Palace team, it'll be Martinelli. If not, it will be Kane, who's away at Southampton, who look equally, if not even worse than Palace. So there are my thoughts. Let's move on now to 60 seconds worth of talking tactics. Yes, guys, time for talking tactics. 60 seconds starting from now. We're looking at Villa. Why? Well, so many want to buy Ollie Watkins. I'm going to give you some reasons why to buy him, even though I'm not. When we look at the average position map against West Ham last time out, it's exactly what we want to see. He's super high. He's super involved. Now, Ollie Watkins, the number 11 here. Since Danny Ings left the football club, he's become the main man, and he needs that love, Watkins, quite clearly. 6 goals in 7, I think it is. We know Villa are playing with a clear identity. It's counter-attacking football. It's always one up top. But look at the width from Moreno here, number 15. And when we look at the goal at the weekend, we can see the cross coming in. Just feeds Watkins in behind that West Ham defence. Watkins with the run and the header. It was a brilliant goal. But Moreno's touch and average position map, 15. He's as high as Leon Bailey, right? Number 31. Matt Cash is the number 2. Moreno is going to get lots of width and lots of assists for Watkins, and I think there's going to be loads of fun in behind the back line of whoever they're playing against. When they're playing against deeper teams, it might be more tricky, but when they're playing against slightly more attacking teams at home, I think Watkins is going to be a force, and the away fixtures look just as good as the home. Okay, so my free hit 11, I've put together 11 players that not only I like on a free hit, but that I like for free transfers this week, and a good owns most of them moving forward too. So an 11 this week for those that perhaps are looking to field 7 or 8 players might consider the free hit. Do I think the upside is big enough? Well, yeah, if you can only get 7 or 8 players. If you're looking at 9 or 10 though, for me, the chip isn't worth using. But look, this is a team you could get to. Martinez in goal, you could go double Chelsea defence. That's a nice differential, especially knowing they're playing with the wing-backs again. Still cover that Arsenal defence, I think. Palace looks so goal-shy of late. Double Arsenal midfield. You could go Trossard instead of Saka if you want to back form. Martinelli would be a shoo-in. Maddison, his underlyings have been phenomenal. He's been so unlucky in the last couple of weeks. Maddison is due a big haul, and actually in game week 29 he's definitely coming into my team if he's fit. But game week 28 against Brentford, I still see points there. And look, Heung-min Son could be loads of fun. When you use a free hit, you need some punts, you need some low-owned players, and Son could be phenomenal this week. I'd pair him still with Harry Kane and just back that Spurs are going to go big. And then look, Havertz and Watkins, I think, pick themselves, and we've seen why. So this is the sort of team you could produce, but many can get to a similar looking team with a free transfer or 2. So there we have it. That's our free hit 11, a decent looking 11 there. Guys, in last week's show, we spoke to the world number 1, Ali Hangarov. And in that 3-4 minute segment, loads of you commented saying you would love to hear more from Ali. So a couple of days ago, I posted a 15-minute video with his top 5 tips. It's so interesting. This is a unique manager that plays his own style. He's now world number 4. He's got so many chips in the bank, including his wild card. I think he could go on and win it. And his top 5 tips are invaluable. So go check out the video I posted a couple of days ago on this channel. It's 15 minutes long. It's not to be missed. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Unbelievable to get all your support last week. So many views, so many likes, so many comments, and look, loads of you subscribing and sharing the message too. So I can't thank you enough for the support so far. This is a new channel, and I'm so grateful to have you guys on the journey with me as we grow this channel together. So thank you for watching. Good luck, and let's go for some super green arrows this week.